Hi everyone, my name is Isabella Martinez and I'm going to be a senior this year at Nice High School. This is going to be my third year in DECA, but so far I've qualified for ICDC 2 times in the Startup Business Plan and Business Services and Operations Research. Today I'm going to be talking about DECA's corporate challenges, so I'm going to be talking about what a corporate challenge is, how they work, and a couple of tips from ICDC qualifiers, and stuff to kind of get you interested and warmed up to what a corporate challenge and what DECA business challenges in general are. So a DECA Corporate Challenges, it's a special DECA event, and it's sponsored by major companies and organizations around the United States. So we have companies like Nestle, Adobe, a bunch of different companies come together and create kind of like business challenge ideas, and then they give them to DECA members and essentially let the DECA members create their own kind of like response to them. So unlike a traditional role play event, corporate challenges are based on current business situations, and they involve a lot of like completing specific tasks and projects, presentations, or assessments, and though all of those things are directly created by the sponsoring company. A lot of like past sponsors have included well-known organizations from industries in the hospitality industry, finance, marketing, entrepreneurship. So all of the previously mentioned kind of like categories of DECA, we have all of those branches inside of the DECA corporate challenges. So how a corporate challenge works is that each corporate challenge has essentially its own unique rules and requirements. So you're either going to be asked to complete an online challenge or a project during a specific amount of competition, like time. So depending on the event, competitors may analyze business scenarios, create marketing strategies, solve an industry problem. So there's a bunch of different things that the corporate challenges kind of entail based on what like specific challenge that you want to do and based on which company or special organization is sponsoring that event. So for example, we have a corporate challenge called the Adobe Food Truck Challenge. So Adobe is an editing software and like a multimedia software. So the whole point of that challenge is to create and design your own food truck using that software. So it kind of, you see how like each organization links to the type of competition or project that you're going to be competing with and making. So because each thing is very different from each other, I would recommend you guys go to deca.org/challenges. So deca.org/challenges. Basically, all of the dates, guidelines, and event like breakdowns are going to be there. So I would really recommend looking at that and looking at the breakdown of each event, because since like all of the challenges have different due dates and they can also find like different result release dates, it's really imperative that you check those and you always check the guidelines and make sure that you get all those little points necessary for the specific challenge that you want to do. And then whenever you submit your entry, it'll have like at deca.org/challenges, it'll have where you need to submit everything and basically how the entire process works for that event. And then once you submit, if you go to decadirect.org, that's where you're going to see the release of all of the scores or like who has qualified for ICDC. So what's different about the challenges is that in the previous videos that you've watched, you'll see that we have different like district events and state events, but for challenges, we don't have that. You just directly submit your thing where you're supposed to, and then you're automatically in the running for ICDC. So once those scores or results get released on decadirect.org, you'll be able to see the standings, and those top 3 will be able to go to ICDC and basically get presented their award on stage. So how to approach a corporate challenge. So before you want to begin the challenge, you definitely want to research the company and learn about kind of its products and services, its target market, study its mission and values. So for example, Nestle has a huge event and a huge corporate challenge that it sponsors. So I would suggest looking at Nestle, looking at their target market, looking at their mission and values. That way you can kind of cater your project and your solution to align with that company's goals, because since they're the ones who are sponsoring it, they're the ones who are going to be very interested in seeing how your project or your solution will directly cater to their business. Another key strategy is definitely professionalism. Because these challenges are created by industry leaders, you should be able to think like a business professional rather than just kind of submitting something to complete the challenge. You really want to ask yourself, what would an actual employee or consultant recommend in this situation? Because that way, putting yourself in that position is going to set you up for success in those corporate challenges. And then a couple tips from ICDC qualifiers is that first, read every single instruction multiple times. Even if you're not doing a corporate challenge, just any event in DECA, you really want to read those guidelines, because those guidelines have everything for you. Like, those guidelines will be your key. And reading every single little thing, even if you don't think if it's just like redundant information, a lot of the times that's what students miss, is they're not reading those specific little key details, and that's what they get points off for in the rubrics. Also, I feel like these challenges are definitely more quality over quantity. So with that being said, even if your idea isn't great, if your judge can tell that you are passionate about your project, because for example, some of the events have you submit a video of your presentation, if they can tell that you are passionate about your solution, it really doesn't have to be the best solution in the entire world. I know, as someone who did startup, which is a very, very hard competitive event, we were just so happy and passionate about our idea, and that's what kind of set us up for that success to qualify for ICDC. So having that passion and kind of like communicating that to the judges is really, really going to help you during these challenges. And you also want to use this as like evidence and reasoning, because if obviously we don't want to rely too much on our passions and kind of create a project that or a solution that might seem impossible. So using evidence and reasoning and pairing that with like how enthusiastic you are can really show the judges how you really know your stuff, and they're going to be very, very impressed by that. So that's all I have for you for corporate challenges. I think corporate challenges are a really, really good way to kind of get acclimatized to DECA and to see, because since we have all of the categories of DECA, it's a very cool way to kind of see all those and pick and choose which ones you want to do, as you are able to submit multiple entries for a corporate challenge. So now I'm going to pass you on over to Marley, and she's going to talk about the virtual business challenges.
Hello, my name is Marley Vertz, and I'm a 12th grader at Nice High School. I've been a part of the Hospitality and Tourism Academy for 4 years now. My second year, I decided to join DECA, and I've been in that program for 3 years now. This year, I decided that I wanted to become an officer, so I put in an application. I became Director of Membership. Today, I'll be talking about VBCs, formerly known as Virtual Business Challenges. What are VBCs? Virtual Business Challenges are online competitors that use a simulation software. Instead of giving a presentation, students are able to manage their own business and learn how to make business decisions. This simulation acts as a business manager. It allows you to achieve your highest performance score. Some VBC categories include retail management, fashion, hospitality and tourism, sports, entrepreneurship, restaurant management, and personal finance. Each simulation creates a realistic business environment where your decisions will affect your results. In a virtual business challenge, students complete a series of business rounds where they make decisions about pricing, marketing, staffing, inventory, customer service, and financial management. The simulation will calculate your results based on the decisions you choose. Students typically complete several practice rounds before submitting an overall competition round. Depending on the event, the goal may be to increase profit, gain market share, or improve customer satisfaction. The highest scores typically move on through the competition rounds and may qualify for ICDC. There are many ways to approach a VBC. There is an easy way, guessing, or there's a successful way, trying. The most common mistake when doing these simulations is just scrolling through and guessing how to do things. From personal experience, I would get frustrated and guess myself, but then soon realize that that wasn't the answer. The most successful way to approach these sims is taking one thing at a time. If you decide to change your staffing, let it only be the staffing. Let time pass and see if anything changes. If it doesn't, change one thing. I would say that keeping note is also very crucial when doing these simulations, because if you change one thing that was working for you and you can't figure it out, you have note of what did work and what didn't work. Something that I would keep track of when taking notes is sales, profit, customer satisfaction, inventory, and advertising results. Tracking that information helps you find patterns and helps to make better decisions in future rounds. The more you practice, the more comfortable and confident you will become. Don't give up, take a deep breath, and let the frustration pass. Before competing, make sure that you know the simulations inside and out. Competition season gets very stressful and you lose track of what you're doing, but make sure you know the simulations and you'll be good. Every event will score competitors a little bit differently. Another tip is patience. Winning doesn't come easily. Winning strategies usually take time to develop. The most successful competitors are the ones that take their time and complete many of these simulations. Completing multiple will help you improve your decision making. Finally, use data to guide your decisions instead of making assumptions. Like I said earlier, make sure that you're taking notes on specific topics because it helps a lot. Keep in mind, this simulation rewards careful thinking and smart decision making. As we've discussed, virtual business challenges allow students to make and manage a business using realistic simulations. No matter which category you choose, success comes from willingness to learn, paying attention, preparation, and consistency. Many ICDC qualifiers will share the same advice. Start early, stay consistent, and don't be afraid to learn from your mistakes. Thank you for listening, and good luck on your future DECA competitions.